In the howling anarchy between settlements in the Underhive, there lurk the very worst of Necromunda's outlaws, the Outlanders. While hivers are driven away from settlements for transgressions against the Downhive Code and become outlaws, outlaws are simply barred from entry to the settlements for belonging to groups which do not accept the Downhive Code because of their creed or their birthright. 4 groups of Outlanders predominate in the Underhive of Hive Primus, although in other hives their influence is less overwhelming. These groups are feared and hated by the hard-working settlers struggling to eke a living in the wastes. There are the dispossessed Ratskin warriors who form bands of Ratskin renegades, eager to bring suffering upon the hivers, who have invaded their homes and defiled their sacred places. The fanatical followers of the Cult of the Redemption come downside to pursue their insane redemptionist crusades, hunting mutants and deviants with a manic zeal. Scrofulous bands of degenerate and mutated scavies lurk at the edges of civilization, waiting their chance to loot and pillage. Worst of all, there are the machine beasts, the Spirers, nobles from the Spire who venture into the Underhive to undergo their rites of passage before they ascend to their place in the aristocracy. Outlanders cannot build the intricate web of contracts and allies the other gangs rely on to make a living in the Underhive. They stand or fall alone. To survive and prosper, Outlanders must fight dangerous, desperate battles to seize weapons, equipment, and food from gangs and settlers. Every defeat brings them a little closer to starvation, and the weak and the badly led will never succeed or survive. The Underhive will swallow them up, and their bones will mix with those of thousands of others who came below, seeking a new beginning, finding only death. Within the Outlanders, there are those caked in the most indescribable foulness, the very dregs of humanity, so devolved and twisted that they can hardly be considered human anymore. Their skin is a disgusting mass of sores, warts, blisters, and cracks. Their limbs are often so withered or shriveled that crude hooks and peg legs are a common sight. Though any who is too crippled to defend himself is easy prey for his fellows. Scavies scratch out an existence in the most foul and polluted wastelands of the Underhive, hungrily watching for an opportunity to murder, rob, and pillage anyone and anything nearby. Scavies have to band together to survive, and a typical band will be made up of several extended and severely inbred families. The dominant member of the band rules through brute strength, low cunning, and as having as many siblings as possible to exert his will. Though individual scavies pose little threat to a well-armed gang, they are cunning enough to use traps, ambushes, and weight of numbers to even the odds. Occasionally, a scavy king will arise and unite several scavy bands together into a ramshackle tribe. Such coalitions can create a ragged horde of scavies, big enough to overrun settlements and trading halls. The excesses of King Blacknose the 81st are still remembered with a shudder in the Underhive, and the settlement of Downtown has yet to recover from its period of rulership by the so-called Beggar King. Fortunately, scavies are usually more concerned with avoiding the attention of the authorities than conquest. They are far more likely to use fear, intimidation, and extortion to get what they want. Their scrupulous subjects move in to blockade vital resources and charge underhive dwellers tolls and taxes whenever they have the numbers to get away with it. At times like these, the honest, hard-working settlers will look to gangs and bounty hunters